Hey guys, so I thought I would just do a little sit down video. I did vlog at the end of this video, so it's not just a sit down video. I just didn't vlog last night because Hannah was really sick. So you can definitely tell if Hannah's really sick because I won't vlog. I won't even take a picture. I won't take a video. Like, I know when Hannah's like critical and when she's just sick Hannah, you know? So anyways, Hannah is still sleeping on the baby monitor. You can kind of see her right there. You can like hear everything. So yeah, I'm just going to do this video while she's napping, and then we'll finish the rest of the vlog. As I talked about in my last video, I kind of said how losing the ventilator would affect me and how the reasons why I wouldn't want the ventilator to go, and even though like it is a good thing that the ventilator is going, it's going to cause negative effects for me. Well, we also, like, we don't know if she can actually tolerate. Just because she did 2 nights good in the hospital doesn't mean that it's going to be forever. So actually last night we were in the hospital. The night before that, I had to have her on oxygen. Not a lot, like just like half a liter, and when she'd be on half a liter, it would be 100%. And she wasn't really indrawing, and I thought everything was fine. And I even thought that maybe the sat monitor wasn't working because it's an old ghetto, like you'll see it later in this vlog, sat monitor, and it like is really touchy, and I couldn't get it to read myself. And Hannah's been studying so good that I just didn't think it could be reading properly, but I was like, well, I'm gonna put her on oxygen. She ended up staying on oxygen the whole night, and I kind of just thought, okay, well, that's night 1. It doesn't mean we have to go to the hospital. And then the next night rolls around, last night, and the same thing happens again. I put her on oxygen, and I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, it's fine. But then before I went to bed, I was looking at her, and I was noticing that she was kind of indrawing, but not a lot. Not like how she's indrawing today. Just like a slight little bit, like working a little bit harder to breathe and needing oxygen, but not like a ton still, just a little bit, and it's still satting great on a tiny little bit. So then I realized that I needed, like, who is I supposed to contact about this? Because our pediatrician isn't really the one making the calls for the respiratory stuff. It's the respirologist in Victoria. And I don't have his direct number, and what about if he's not working? And then I'm not, like, do I just call the PICU and then get them to, like, bring her in? Or, like, what do I do? So I was thinking about calling before I went to bed and just asking for advice for what I should do tomorrow, like, today. But then I was like, whatever, no, I'll just call tomorrow. I go to bed at approximately, like, 1, I think, when I went to bed finally. Like, usually I go to bed earlier, but I wanted to get the video up. I know, YouTube's such a high priority to me. But I really wanted to get the video up, and I didn't have time to do it because I was dealing with a stupid laptop BS. You really need to follow me on Facebook if you don't, because a lot of things I post on Facebook and I don't post on here. And if you don't have a Facebook and you just use Twitter, all of the posts I post on my page go to my Twitter account. So if you're into Twitter but not into Facebook, follow me on Twitter and you'll still get updates. Anyways, yeah, so I stayed up, and then I was like, well, should I go to bed? Should we just bring her in just to, like, get her looked at, even though I don't think anything's wrong, just, like, get a blood gas and then go home? But then I went to bed at 1, and at 4:30, my nurse comes knocking on my door. And whenever a nurse knocks on my door, I wake up to the first knock, I take out my earplugs, and I'm kind of like, what time is it? Did somebody just knock on the door? And then it's the second knock when I'm like, oh, okay, there's somebody at the door. And then I get out of bed, and I went and go to see Hannah, and the nurse was like, she has a really high fever, she's got a really high heart rate, her oxygen wasn't very high. I think it might have been at 2 liters at this time. I think it was even less than that. But she was still doing good with the oxygen, and yeah, her fever was pretty high. I think it was 38.9, which now that I'm fully awake, I realize that's way too hot. Because you're always supposed to add 1, so it was actually like 39 point or something when you do under the arm. The nurse is like, I think we need to bring her to the hospital. And I'm like, well, you know, if she was on the ventilator, I would say we'll wait till morning. Like, I think she'll be fine. Give her some Tylenol. She'll probably go back to sleep and it'll be all right. Because when she was awake right then and mad, so everything's a lot worse when she is awake and mad. But just to be sure, because I didn't know, like, now that she's off the ventilator, should I be bringing her in a little bit more, making sure she gets checked? Like, we technically don't have orders to put her on the vent. So I called Victoria, and, like, this is nothing against Victoria. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's Victoria's fault, because it's not. But they said, no, it's fine, you know, if the Tylenol doesn't kick in and doesn't do anything, then yeah, you should bring her in. So I get off the phone with Victoria, I come down here, and I start downloading the video, the emergency bag video. And then I hear on the baby monitor, and the baby monitor is so old and ghetto that usually, like, nurses don't know how to turn down the beep thing, that it goes beep, 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 beep for the heart rate. So Hannah's heart rate was really, really fast. So it was like beep, 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 beep. And then all of a sudden it was like beep, 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 boop, 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 slowly getting slower. And I'm like, oh, that's good. At first, like, thinking the Tylenol must be kicking in. But then I was like, wait a second, that's really fast. And then the nurse is like, Hannah. And then I'm like, okay, maybe she just wants to get a roller. But I'm like, sitting on the edge of the couch, like, listening. And I'm like, what's going on? And then she starts yelling my name. So then I run up there. And I'm telling this now that I've calmed down and I know what happened. But this is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me with her. Like, I've never been so scared. I come upstairs and she looks terrible. She is dusky. She's got bubbles coming out of her mouth. She is just like laying there still, not responsive. Her oxygen stats, terrible. We had to turn her up really high. I don't even remember what she was at. Her heart rate was really, really, really low. The nurse is trying to stimulate her to get her to breathe. She's not breathing. She's also not on the ventilator. I pick her up because I don't know what's going on. I'm like, Hannah. I'm like freaking out. And in my mind, I've read so many horror stories about kids with trachs dying. Like, one girl died. She was in her exerciser, totally healthy. 1 second, she goes into, like, I don't know, a lung failure, I guess, or something. I don't know exactly what it was. But anyways, she just stops breathing. Maybe her heart stops. Her parents ended up doing CPR and begging her and getting her heart started, but her brain was dead, and then they just had to let it go. But I was like, oh my god, this is what it's like. She's gonna die. I was just so in shock. Like, that's what I was thinking, and I was so frozen. I was just like, oh my god, she's gonna die. And I've never, like, anytime I posted a video, I've never been, like, scared. Like, I've been like, oh, Hannah's sick. It's not like I've been like, I think Hannah's gonna die. Only one other time was I, like, questioning if she was going to, like, if there was a possibility that she might die. And that was when she had pneumonia before she got her trach. So that's sweet. FedEx just came, it's, like, late. It's, like, 5:30. And FedEx just came to drop off her cord to her sat monitor, so now we have 2 sat monitors and her actually, like, good one that I would trust her sats on. Okay, so Hannah also woke up. Can you say hi? Can you wave hi? No? Okay, so what I was saying before the doorbell rang was that there was only one other time that I thought maybe she might die, and that was when she had pneumonia before she got her trach. She was really sick, and, like, you don't go from being on low flow oxygen to being intubated for nothing. So I was like, hey, doctors, like, if she's going to die, and if you think at all she's going to die, then you better let me know. And that's the only other time, but it's not like I was actually, like, in the moment thinking, like, oh my god. Like, yeah, I was pretty scared. So anyways, so my nurse actually is what calmed me down, because she was actually having a seizure, and we didn't know at first that that was a seizure because she wasn't shaking. She was just very limp, bubbling, like, gray, non-responsive, all those kind of things, low heart rate, low respiratory rate. When I picked her up and was trying to stimulator, I love you. When I was trying to stimulate her, she, I didn't feel like she was breathing. Like, I was holding her and I couldn't feel anything, and I was like, oh my god, we have to beg her. And my nurse was like, she's having a seizure, and I was like, I just picked her up and, like, was like being like, come on, Hannah, wake up. Like, I wasn't being very gentle. Like, I was being gentle, but, like, you don't want to pick up somebody that's having a seizure. But I didn't know that. Next time I will know that. Oh, Hannah, I love you. So anyways, I lay her down, and the nurse is like, she's having a seizure. And then I was like, okay, we have to beg her. Like, she's not breathing. I am terrified of begging. Like, I could do it, but I was so, like, frozen. We pulled out the ventilator and then started calling 911. And I was so scared and out of it that, like, I couldn't even, like, take care of Hannah. Usually, like, when we went to emerge for the RSV, I was the one, I called at first 911, and then the operator was just stressing me out because it's not like I thought she was going to die. I was just like, we need an ambulance, she needs a lot of oxygen, just, like, get here. Like, you have time, but get here. But he was just asking so many scary questions, like, I was just like, okay, you're stressing me out. like my nurse, you have to talk to them, and I just like sat with Hannah and dealt with her. But this time I was like, I can't deal with Hannah, I can't deal with Hannah, I just have to talk to the person on the phone. And I was like hysterical, and I really wish I handled myself better, but like I was so scared that I didn't. Like usually I have it all together, not really like panicked. I'm the one that's like, okay, it's fine, like she's gonna be okay, like she'll come out of this. But last night I was just like, she's not gonna come out of this, she's not gonna come out of this. I was very scared. Then we get to the hospital, and the doctor sees us right away, which has never happened before. They did an x-ray, and it showed that she had, like, in her right lung, she had a bunch at the top, so it looks like aspiration pneumonia, because the aspiration pneumonia is at the top of your lungs. My night nurse actually said when she sectioned her 2 hours before she had to wake me up, and she puked. She was sectioning her, and she puked, but that she made this face like it had gone into her trach. And then that's going directly into your lungs. So probably how she got aspiration pneumonia, but she might have puked and accidentally got it somehow before when she was puking, and that it just was really bad now. But so that's what we think might have caused it, which isn't like anybody's fault. This trach is an opening, and like when you're puking, it's like running down you, and like Hannah's like chin is not that far away from her trach. So anyways, they said that she had aspiration pneumonia, and then, alright, so Hannah's laying down right here. So then, yeah, they had aspiration pneumonia, and then they said that we're going to wait for the pediatrician to confirm that, and we waited for the pediatrician for a couple hours, and the pediatrician came on and said, okay, I want to call the Victoria Hospital, and then that took a while, and then they said, we want to do a blood gas, and then they sent these, like, new people, like, they sent 2 of them, and they did not know what they're doing. Poked her 3 times and couldn't get the right poke. And then they said that they're going to do another test that's the same, but it's like from like an actual like needle, whereas like blood gases are just a finger poke. It wasn't the right test after all. So we wasted our whole afternoon because they couldn't get an experienced person and whatever. And then they sent us home with the orders and stuff, and I didn't want to talk to the pediatrician. When we got home, we talked to the cardiologist, and cardiologist wants us to go back there tonight after she's like going to be sleeping, and she's going to sleep for a couple hours, and then they're going to poke her, and then we're going to do a blood gas, and then depending on the blood gas, we're either going to put her on the ventilator or we'll try to like have her off the ventilator as long as I feel comfortable. And then on Monday, if I'm not feeling comfortable, we'll like reassess her on Monday and see how she does. This is her first sickness off the ventilator, so it's like obviously it is going to be harder for her because she's used to that extra support. But the fact that she had the seizure is what really scares me. Like, I am terrified to have no night nurse now, like especially without the ventilator. Like, I'm probably going to put her on the ventilator if I don't have a no night nurse now, because she scared me. I don't think I'm ever going to, like, recover from that. Like, if I had been sleeping and woken up, like, and got into a room by myself, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I needed that person to help me, like, talk, like, to, like, you both calm yourselves. You're 2 minds thinking under, like, pressure and stress and, like, shock, that you, like, you can both figure out stuff. Like, I figured out some stuff and she figured out some stuff, and it, like, helped us. Like, we were, like, got ourselves back on, like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, we need to do this now. So that's pretty much everything from last night, and then I'm going to vlog the rest of today, so then you'll see some parts from earlier when we got home from the hospital, and I'll vlog later when we go to emerge again. And you still look tired, Hannah? Your HB keeps falling off. Are you feeling better? So anyways, Hannah is still sleeping on the bed. Hey, Hannah? Was it very scary? Can you say hello? Can you say hello? Hello? Hello?